Hello and welcome inside the WVUR studios for another edition of Valpo Sports Central. I'm Drew Taylor. Behind me are two guys who equally share my passion for sports, Eric Mozinski to my left and Mark Westendorp to my right. On today's program, we'll have a full recap and analysis of the Valpo win yesterday at Wright State. We'll also debate the NCAA basketball tournament format. But first, as we always do leading off this show, let's talk about some Crusader women's hoops. Frustrating weekend in the sense that they had Detroit on the ropes, a team that was higher than them in the rankings, and they could have made up some ground within the standings. However, second half woes, Mark. 41-24, they're outscored in half number 2. What happened in your analysis?
Well, the difference was in the first half, they shot 53% from the floor, Valpo did, and then going into the second half, only shot 31%, so that doesn't help you in the first place.
Sure doesn't.
And also, they did a really good job, Valpo, at least in the first half, of getting the stud player for Detroit, Sharita Brown, off the court. Okay. She's averaging 24 and 12. In this game, she finished with 12 and 6. So they did a good job of stopping her. They got her in foul trouble, got her out of the game. But then once she came back in the game in the second half and played with 3 fouls and started to dominate inside, it just they just got momentum and just went with it.
How about more of a general question, Mo?
Yeah.
This Crusader team is now 3-5 in conference, but with the win, they would have been 4-4. How big of a difference is being 4-4 versus 3-5?
Well, Drew, that's the difference of a loss.
Wow.
And no, just being 500, it's just the confidence you get from that. Thinking, okay, we're even on the season. If we keep going forward, you can only progress from there. I mean, 4-4, 3-5 at this point. It's not the end of the world, but it's a tougher battle to climb back from.
This team is definitely more well equipped than they were last year at this time to make a run in the Horizon League championships. You look at last year, and there were blowouts pretty much every other game, if not every game. And really, the only game that this Crusader team was out of from maybe the 10-minute mark on was that Green Bay game, which for obvious reasons, Green Bay is outmatched pretty much everybody in the Horizon League. But this team right now, I think I have the confidence that if they played with Detroit on the road, why can't they go on the road and play somebody in the Horizon League tournament and make a run?
I think obviously they could. I mean, they've played with every single team minus Green Bay. So, like Mo was saying, the 3-5, 4-4 difference it's not too big a deal until it comes down to seeding and tournament time, what teams you match up with better. It's just going to come down to what matchups you get in the tournament, to whether or not we can move on or not. If we get matched up with like Detroit, that'll be a tougher one. But if we say got Cleveland State did well, or Wright State, we should be on the road. It's just going to come down to matchups pretty much.
This team is now 8-13 overall, including a 3-5 conference record. As I mentioned, that's good enough for 5th within the Horizon League. Now, the previous game before Saturday's at Detroit, OT win at home. Eric, do you think there was any sort of hangover effect going into Detroit?
I think there's always some kind of, like you said, hangover
big
effect
emotional win and then going on the road. It's tough to do.
Yeah, just the turnaround point. You're probably not, I mean, I'm not going to say you're not focused for the game, but it's just like you're mentally tired from the last game. You played more time than you're usually playing during a game. So I think that it wears on the body, but it also wears on the mind and maybe the physical or mental aspect of the game. They weren't there for the Detroit.
What about the depth issue, Mark? I mean, you look at this team, and really Coach Doro has elected to use 3 off the bench, just 3. So basically an 8-man rotation. Is that a concern, especially when, like I mentioned, you were playing extra minutes the previous game, and pretty much every single starter, with the exception of Shakira Scott, played 30-plus minutes in that Detroit game? Cause for concern.
Maybe when you have everyone playing 30-plus like that. I think an 8-man rotation is kind of what you look for. Maybe a 9. That's Bill Self in Kansas. He likes more of a 9-man. 8 or 9 is usually a good number to have. But I'd like to see maybe Jessica Carr or Jesse Wiedemann get a couple more minutes, just because they're 2 of our best shooters, if not our 2 best shooters from 3. So without them, we don't have much of a threat outside of the arc. So it's just teams can just pack it in and force us to take shots that we don't want to.
Email address is valposportscentral@gmail.com. Again, valposportscentral@gmail.com. We're also available on Twitter. Gentlemen?
Capital M_Dubs24.
@_ Drew Taylor _ and @Eric Mozinski.
By the way, I should mention this. We are live on WVUR, but we will also be airing tonight or tomorrow on VUTV.
Yeah.
So that's exciting news.
Of listening.
Mark and I, by the way, did not plan this outfit.
No, not at all.
We could look at it 2 ways. Either we could say we planned this outfit and Mo missed the memo.
I think
Mo missed the memo.
No, I didn't miss the memo.
I think we're going to go with that.
They're wearing matching shirts. The Valparaiso Defender home shirts.
Hey, we worked hard for these shirts. We had to get in the crowd very early.
I got mine.
To get some
for nothing.
to get some threads.
I think one of you clowns got me one. I think you did.
Last question regarding the women's basketball team. I'll ask both of you before we move on.
Here we go.
Only 6 trips to the free throw line. Do they need to start working it in more? I mean, Tabitha Gerardo should be your go-to inside, but if you look at it, the free throw disparity in the Detroit game, that's definitely significant. And when you can't make your shots from outside, the one constant should be pounding it inside, getting to the free throw line, and making your high percentage buckets. Is that a problem?
Definitely. I mean, you're looking to get it inside to Tab or Gina every time. Against Cleveland State, that's how they won the game. Tab had 32, Gina had 24. So you're looking to pound it inside, but I think it was just a fact of the way that Detroit played defense. It's just like a credit to them where they basically took Tab out of that game. I mean, she was still able to get 10 points and 7 rebounds, but that's not what we're accustomed to seeing from her. So, I mean, I'm giving a little more credit to Detroit's game plan that kept us away from getting the ball inside and hence to the line.
Eric, you represent all big men.
Yeah, well, it's a free throw for one reason, that it's a free shot. I mean, anytime you get more free throws, the percentage is you're going to score more points.
Absolutely.
I mean, so yeah, like you said, I'm a fan of the big men, or the I don't want to say large ladies, but that's what they are. They're tall.
What did we call it last week?
I don't know.
You said something.
But I'd rather dish it down to them and have them they're either going to get the basket and the foul or get 2 shots from the line, and that's 2 points. Hey, it counts as long as it goes in the basket. No matter how it goes in.
They will play tonight against Loyola, 7 p.m. Definitely a winnable game. The Ramblers are 2-4 within conference play, and if the Crusaders look to climb the ladder in the standings at all and position themselves for a run in the Horizon League championships, these are the types of games you must win. Again, tonight, Loyola, 7 p.m. You can follow that game on ValpoAthletics.com. Let's move on, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Valpo men's basketball.
Yep.
Before we get into last night's contest, can we get a quick recap of Saturday's win at Cleveland State?
Played well. Didn't really finish as strong as we'd like, but it was just nice to see us play well to start on the road, because usually on the road we'll end up not getting up to the best of start. The other team takes the lead and we're struggling, and then we have to play well in the second half to win the game. But it was nice to see us start off strong and able to close it out. I mean, it wasn't the best of closeouts of a game. We let Cleveland State get it down to, I think, like 5 maybe or something like that. But I was overall happy with the win on the road.
Eric, how about your boy Big Bob?
Just business as usual. You know, Big Bob, finally, last couple of games I've seen him, maybe he's listening to the show, you never know. He's going up strong.
We saw him at 7-Eleven this morning getting a big, tall coffee.
Well, he's getting ready for the day.
He's got to get energized.
Well, no, we're throwing the ball down to him more, and instead of, doing his usual, just I'm going to throw it back out to you.
That was classic.
He's going up, giving a little pump fake, doing some big man moves. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Kevin Van Vyke's teaching him something. But I've seen him, he's getting more aggressive, getting more points and more rebounds. Almost had a triple-dub, 3 games ago? So, I mean, he's getting more involved. Maybe he's getting more comfortable. I'm looking forward to the next few games with him.
13 points in 13 minutes in that win over Cleveland State on Saturday. How about the touch from the big man? Not only with his own offense, but dishing it out inside. Mo, you mentioned an almost triple-double.
Yeah.
What kind of luxury is that to have on your team if your big fella is racking up and get your team high in assists?
Is that to me or to Mark?
Well, both.
You're looking the wrong way.
He said both.
Well, I mean, it's just another aspect you have to look out for now. Because like, how many big guys in the NBA or in college have a great touch like that, have the assists?
They don't.
I mean, you look at a big man, it's rebounds, blocks, and points. You don't look at assists. If you have that, you just add another aspect to the game.
And we have talked about how Bobby maybe should look for a shot more, be more aggressive. But again, you'd rather have that than the flip, which would be him taking it every time he gets the ball. He puts his head down and doesn't look for anybody else and just tries to look for his own offense.
Well, I mean, yeah,
that's the alternative.
No, he looks. I like him. He's doing now. Before he was just doing, okay, I'm not going to shoot. I'm going to pass it out.
Yep.
And now he's saying, okay.
He's found the balance.
He's reading it better. He's reading the defense.
There you go.
better.
He's reading the defense better. Thank you.
And not even just dishing it out. I'm saying a couple times too. Double team on him from 6-7 feet outside of the bucket. Van Vyke streaks to the lane, and there's an easy look there. I think there's a lot of opportunities when you get it down to both Kevin Van Vyke and Bobby Capobianco, because
his own stuff.
They both are great passers, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'll give you that. They can read like Mark said, they can read the defense well, and they know where the other guys are. I mean, most of the time, Bugs just cuts down there. Maybe Boggs, and it's a layup essentially.
I can't help but think about the teams in, I guess, the late '90s, early 2000s, the Sacramento Kings. They would constantly. This team reminds me of the late '90s, early 2000s Sacramento Kings. You want to know why?
Why?
Because they had Vlade Divac. And they would pass it into him at the high post or a little bit inside the lane, and he would just dish. Mostly to Peja Stojakovic and Mike Bibby. But regardless, it was that offense, that inside out. Your big men are utilized not only just inside, but also in the passing game, which I think is something valuable. And we'll see.
Gives them something to do too, because it's boring down in there just battling.
Just bang, and you got to reward the big men.
You have to.
Yeah.
You're like the union for the big guys.
I am.
You know what? You represent. You're always an advocate.
I'm a big guy.
And I love that. Anyways, Valpo won 80-72 over Cleveland State. That was their 9th Horizon League win. They were looking for 20 yesterday. They got it. Initial thoughts?
I was not able to actually catch much of the game, but unfortunately due to work and intramurals and stuff like that. But by looking at the box score, I'm actually really excited to see that we were able to win at Wright State, a tough place to play, with Ryan not having the best of games. He only had 10 points, 5 rebounds. He was 3 for 12 shooting, 1 from 6 from 3. So having a subpar effort from him and turning the ball over 17 times, those are two things that are usually, if we put those together, we are going to lose, like Nebraska or St. Louis or New Mexico. Like turnovers and him not playing the greatest doesn't turn out well for us, but we got the win anyways, solely because Kevin played well, Matt Kenny played well while hurt, and it just everyone rounded out. Like Bogan, Boggs, and Bugs had 5, 5, and 5. So it was balanced scoring throughout, and then Kevin had a good game down low.
To me, I reported the sports for VUTV earlier this morning too, and I mentioned that this just seemed like another day at the office. 34 points in the first half, 34 points in the second half. But unlike the road woes earlier in the season, they looked much more polished.
I mean, yeah, like you said, look, it was business as usual. I mean, it was just another Valpo game. The thing I did like, though, we got the big men more involved, and we didn't rely on the 3 as much.
28 points in the paint.
Yeah.
Good point.
And it could have been just because Rowdy was he didn't have an off game. He was just quiet.
He was quiet.
So other guys
Yeah.
picked it up, and also it had to do with the defense that Wright State had. They weren't double teaming at all down low. So Rowdy had the ball, Bugs has the ball. They dished it down to Van Vyk. He was going up and under every time, and just getting either the foul or the bucket.
68-61, Valpo on top at the Nutter Center, of all places, in Wright State. A nice 7-point win for the Crusaders. A late scare, but Matt Kenny, with under a minute to go, had a nice pull-up near the charity stripe to really ice things for the Crusaders. Sorry?
Well, hurt his ankle in the game, and I'm sure his back was still bothering him.
I'm sure
his back's still hurt.
Yeah. He's a warrior.
He
Matt
is.
Kenny.
He is a warrior. 2 weekly awards given to 2 respective Crusaders this week. Bobby Capobianco, Newcomer of the Week, and also Ryan Brokoff picking up his 4th Player of the Week honors. Let's open up the general discussion. Do they have a chance to get Player of the Year and Newcomer of the Week or Newcomer of the Year, respectively?
I think if Rowdy doesn't win Player of the Year, it's a travesty. I mean, he's won 4 out of I don't even know how many
They
weeks,
should call it
10,
the Ron
14
Brokoff
weeks.
Award now.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
literally, he won the mid-season Lou Henson Award, which is mid-major Player of the Year. So, and you can see the Detroit Ray McCollum. Yeah, he's a good player. They're trying to get him all his stats, but I don't think there's any question on that. As Newcomer of the Year, I honestly couldn't even tell you a front runner in that. There's so many different players that are playing well throughout the league.
Right.
But if the way Bobby's been playing lately, I don't know, put a lasting impression on whoever the committee is that votes on it. He's kind of pulling a Richie Edwards from last year, playing well at the end of the year. He was money at the end of the year last year.
He was.
Sure.
So seeing that, I mean, he could maybe get it, but I honestly couldn't give you a favorite for Newcomer of the Year.
I'll agree with if Rowdy doesn't get the award, there's something wrong. I mean, the thing about it is, Ray McCollum at Detroit, he's just going for his own stats. Rowdy makes the team better as a whole, and I think that's more important than just I put up 30 points a game or whatever. I don't know about Big Bob winning the Newcomer of the Year award. He was injured in the beginning of the year. I'll give him that. He struggled a little bit to find himself, but now, like I think what Mark said, if he could pull this off the rest of the season, the lasting impression that he's going to make, especially like around the time where they're going to vote, that's going to be fresh on their mind. So I mean, he has a chance, but it's going to be tough. A lot of newcomers.
You're listening to Valpo Sports Central here on the Source 95. I'm your host, Drew Taylor, alongside Mark Westendorp and Eric Mozinski. The senior class, boys, has been very impressive. What are you laughing
Are
at?
we going to take a commercial break anytime?
No.
Or are you just going to keep? We're going to keep going.
No, we're going to keep going.
All right, let's do it. No, I'm just wondering.
We're on a roll.
We're going to keep going, especially I just had to remind the folks what they're listening to.
Yeah.
Because if you go 5-6 minutes without telling somebody on the Source.
We can go the entire hour without a commercial break.
You know there's going to be a break in more men's talk, but this is still qualifying for the
I'm
first
just wondering.
Don't you worry.
I want to get the Bargain Barn their shout out, you know?
The Bargain Barn will get their shout out. We will get all promotions in here on Valpo
let's
Sports
continue.
Central. Bryce Drew is very impressed with his senior class. He had this to say after the win yesterday. As a coach, I've been very blessed to be coaching a great group of guys. Our seniors really responded tonight, and the rest of the team followed them. We've had a few sicknesses and injuries, and a lot of those guys battled through adversity tonight. I'm really proud of how we responded. That's from Coach Bryce Drew. And yes, the senior class has been very impressive. And since our time here on campus, Mark, this is your 3rd year. Eric and I, both our 4th year. Best senior class that we've seen since our time?
Pretty easily, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wasn't last year, I can tell you that much.
No.
You sure?
Well,
Sure wasn't.
I mean, last night we scored 68 points, and 60 of them were from seniors.
Okay.
We start 5 seniors, and then Matt Kenny off the bench is another one. So you have a big class, and they're all contributing at the same time. I don't know if you can ask for more of a senior class than that.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, Drew, we came in under the Brandon McPherson, the Brandon
Wood era.
They were more of a I want the ball, I want the limelight type of players. I mean,
Fair enough.
McPherson, not so much. He had the assist, but Brandon Wood, I mean, he bounced to Michigan State. He wanted to play. But, like, I don't think those teams that we saw were as close as this team. I feel like all these guys will hang out with each other off the court.
Mm-hmm.
They, like, the chemistry is unbelievable. Like, that's pretty much not the whole reason why we're winning, but it's a good chunk of the reason.
Does a school like Valpo, being a mid-major and kind of being this family atmosphere, the Drew family has obviously dominated the coaching ranks here forever, it seems. Is this place have a different feel than, let's say, a top team? I mean, your Dukes, your Kentuckys, your Kansases, all those where there's kind of like a revolving door. Guys come for 2 years, they either transfer or go to the NBA. Does Valpo have a different feeling about it, and guys really want to stay and buy in for a full 4 years?
Yeah, definitely. When you come to Valpo, you're almost always coming here for the school as well as playing
Yep.
basketball. You're here for your duration for whatever it takes, maybe even 5 years, depending on injury or school, etc. But I think it makes it more of a close-knit team. But also the downside, I'd say, is that every couple of years, 3 or 4 years, you're going to take a hit and your team's going to go down and you're not going to be as good. And whereas teams like Duke or IU now, they can they'll just roll. They're going to be good year after year. They might have one down year, but at the mid-major level, it's tougher to steadily be at the top of your conference.
And I don't want to pigeonhole this discussion to just guys like Ryan Brokoff, who have stayed here for 4 years, came in as a freshman, and like I said, played their entire career as a Crusader. But even guys like Will Bogan, Ben Boggs, guys that choose to come to Valpo when they certainly have other options. I mean, what draws them to this place?
I think it's. I don't really know. I can't put one thing on it. I think they're drinking the Kool-Aid. They like the system.
Why not?
I mean, over the years, like you see, like Mark said, the Valpo, you come here for the school and the sports,
Sure.
and I don't know. It's just different than the big schools. You're not having that one and done. It's more like a family.
Sure.
And I think a lot of guys. I know if I was playing for a team, I'd rather stick with a guys for even if it was just 2 years, 3 years. If I'm coming in from a transfer, 2 years rather than I'm going to play with different guys for my 4 years if I'm staying for 4 years.
The feeling is definitely different, in my opinion. And the guys that don't buy in, the Richie Edwards, the Jay Harrises,
They're gone.
they're gone.
They're gone.
And I think they realize that if you want playing time, you have to completely buy into Bryce's system and the whole general feel for the way the Crusaders play basketball. And I think it's different than a major conference. And I'm very thankful
It's a
that we
team
can
attitude.
Right.
It's not. I want to be the star. It's I want our team to succeed. And
Exactly.
if you ask him, I know you've interviewed 2 of the guys on the team, and you say, "Where do you want the goal this season?" It says, "We're a team. We want to do this." It's not. I want to do this. I want to score the point. It's we want to do this. We have goals. Everything's we.
Yeah,
I think that's a big difference between our school and the Big Ten or the ACC.
And I think there's a higher work ethic from guys who play mid-major level. You can
Yeah,
argue
there's
this
like a
all
chip on
day,
their
but
shoulder.
there's a chip on their shoulder, and also they've had to work for it. They weren't the guys that, at 12 years old they had higher-ups and coaches at AAU telling them that they're, the next big thing. They're the guys that had to work hard in high school and really prove themselves just to get a Division I scholarship. That's what's different than a guy that's just been told that he's perfect and nothing's ever wrong with him.
Yeah.
Is that a big difference in your mind?
Yeah, I don't even know exactly how to answer that question, but the point I was going to go and
Yeah,
say
go.
was that, people, to go with the work ethic thing that people don't see a lot, is Ryan Brokoff, he only took 1 visit to college. He
Right.
only visited
point.
Valpo. And now I'm sure almost every team in the nation would say, yeah, I'd like to have
I
you.
would have loved to have
Yeah,
him.
I'd love to have you
yeah.
on your team. So that, I think, credits to what you said, that everyone at the mid-major level is working a little bit harder just because they have to step up their game. They don't have the natural talent as much as some of the Division I players that are freak athletes.
Sure.
So it just adds a more work ethic to them and to the team as a whole, which benefits them in the long run.
We are woefully late for a break, but when we come back, more Valpo men's talk. Will the Horizon League Network ever make it to mainstream TV? Don't reveal your answers, gentlemen. I know you like to do that last week. We'll discuss next on
I
Valpo
want to
Sports
so bad.
Central. It's 3:25 here on the Source
They
95.
probably will, I'm going to be honest.
Valpo Sports Central here on the Source 95, and later streaming on VU TV. This is Adele, Set Fire to the Rain.
Set
Usually
Fire
our
to the Rain
leadoff
here.
song, but I thought we'd bring it in between segments.
It's a great song.
With that being
Calms
said,
the mood.
I'm joined by Mark Westendorp and Eric Mozinski. Quick segment here, more general discussion on the HLN and the coverage of this conference. I want to get into, like I said, when we came in here as freshmen, the coverage wasn't nearly as large as it is right now, and I think mid-major basketball has taken a significant leap in the minds of the casual viewer. I think people are paying attention. It's not just the top conferences that get attention on ESPN and other college basketball networks. With that being said, how long will it be, if at all, will HLN make it to a DirecTV channel, to your cable package? How long will it be, or will it continue to just be online?
I don't know, because I think they kind of hold or hang their hat on the fact that they're the best like online availability for conference. Because if you go to a network, like say your Missouri Valley Conference, I don't know if they have a network or not, but just for example, you're going to only get those games in that area and that region. It's going to be part of your cable package. Whereas you can watch a Valpo game or Detroit game, Wright State game nationwide because it has great online coverage. So I don't really know if they're pushing to get on TV quite yet.
I think they'll keep their online stuff. Like, because what Mark was saying,
Sure.
they really pride themselves on
Yeah,
that.
I
But
agree.
over the time, they're going to have to move to TV. It's going to be
That's
a
the
lot
general
more money.
trend,
And
yeah.
people want to watch the mid-majors just for more reason
Yep.
that it's more pure basketball than the Big Ten and the
I
ACC,
agree.
because you're seeing the teams play and not just going to leave the next year. Like we already talked about in the last segment, it's like it's more of a family, so they're getting back to like the roots of basketball almost. But I think they just have to move to TV. If anything else, for the exposure and for the players, and it's going to bring a lot more guys in just with the national TV, was it license or whatever? I don't know.
My suggestion would be to do something like NBA League Pass or any of those extra sports
like a
packages.
DirecTV.
It doesn't have to be a Big Ten network where there's one channel and they choose what kind of game will be on every night. I'm saying why not do sort of like a Horizon League package? I would pay extra. When I'm an
Not
alumni,
even Horizon League, just like a mid-major package, which I'm
Exactly.
sure they have already. But the Horizon League should get on board with that.
so you certainly don't have to fill up, 22 hours of programming besides the game itself.
Yeah, just black
But it
it
could
out,
be
man.
exactly. It could be something like NBA League Pass where it's just a blank screen until NBA games come on at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long away are we from that? Are we getting there?
We're getting there.
I'd say so.
Okay.
I mean, like you said, everyone's trying to get on TV, get their different packages, because you can make more money with the TV advertising, stuff like that. So I'm sure they're looking forward to trying to get that, but I think HLN is kind of set on being just online right now.
Okay, I think they can continue that coverage, but it sure will be interesting. I think with the way the trend is going, I don't think it's going to be too long where I can look up 1073 on my DirecTV and find a Horizon League game that wouldn't normally be broadcasted on
Like a
ESPN.
Youngstown State versus Loyola. I mean, no one wants to watch that. But if you wanted to,
People in Chicago might.
yeah,
or
they might.
Youngstown.
Yeah, they probably want to watch it, but like, I don't know. I'm not going to want to watch that, but I understand what you're saying, Drew.
How about going from the opposite angle, which is being a recruit as opposed to a fan? How does the coverage help your decision making? Does it influence you at all? If you're 17 years old looking at school.
I think it's helping right now because the Horizon League is getting a little more love recently than they have. I mean, that's kind of due to Butler and how they've played recently back-to-back Final Four appearances.
Sure.
But overall, I think the coverage isn't big on a lot of recruits.
You don't think so, huh?
Well, when it's coming to the mid-major level, like if you're recruiting mid-major level kids,
Okay.
then it's kind of like they're just looking for the better school, or like you can see if you go look at quotes from the recruits that have committed to come to Valpo next year, I'll be like, I love the family, I love the coaches,
Okay.
the atmosphere, stuff like that. They're a little more into that than
Fair enough.
like a top 5 prospect just wants to go somewhere and play big time for a year and leave.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
if you're
fair.
looking at a mid-major type school, you know what you're coming into. You know you're not going to get the ESPN game every night. I mean, I don't think it's that. I think it might be a bigger factor saying like between a Valpo or I don't know like a Cleveland State, but they're in the same league. But if one team has more games than the other, and you're like on a mid-major and they're comparable teams, I think that'll help a little bit. But like Mark said, I don't think they're really concerned with it that much.
So you're Coach Roger Powell going on a recruiting trip.
Yeah.
You're not going to go into a family's living room and boast about how many games are on ESPN or how many nationally televised games we'll have next year. That's not part of your recruiting package?
I think it is in some cases because now we're starting to get a couple more games. Like Valpo Cleveland State was on ESPN too. Back in the day, that would never come where,
way.
No way that ever come close.
It was the Butler game every year. That was the
That
ESPN
was it.
game
And
every
that'd be
year.
like ESPNU.
Yeah, it wasn't even on the major networks.
Like we have another ESPN2 game this Saturday. So, I mean, you kind of can start hinting at it now because there's more games on normal ESPN besides ESPN3 or ESPNU. So, I think we're getting closer to that time, but not quite yet.
Yeah, I definitely use it, but not as my main attraction to come to Valpo. I'm not going to say, hey, we have like 7 games on TV. You should come here, because that's not going to work.
No.
I mean, you have to talk about more about the team, because that's what Valpo's all about.
We got to take a brief time out, but on the other side, it's time to talk a little baseball, and later we'll discuss the format of the NCAA tournament. We also have some mock headlines sent from Aaron Taylor, and not 5, but 7 good soccer seconds from Eric Mozinski. All that and more next here on Valpo Sports Central. It's 3:34 on the Source 95.
Did you miss the Crusader Cash Merchant of the Week specials in January at Petey's Euros, Qdoba, and Industrial Revolution? Don't worry, you have more opportunities in February. From February 11th through the 17th, Wendy's will offer a Crusader combo, which includes 2 Junior Cheeseburger Deluxe sandwiches, small fry, and a 20-ounce drink for the low, low price of $3.99, an opportunity you will not want to miss out on. Our 6th Merchant of the Week will be Valpo Viennas. They will offer a combo of a Valpo Vienna hot dog, order of their famous regular roundabouts, and a 20-ounce drink for $5.25, which includes sales tax. This will run from February 18th through the 24th. Wrapping up the month of February will be our very own University Bookstore, located on the first floor of the Hari Union. You will receive 10% off your Crusader Cash purchase of gifts or apparel from February 25th through March 3rd. For additional specials offered this semester from our Crusader Cash merchants, go to our website at valpo.edu/merchants. This program has been brought to you by the Office of Information Technology, taking your one card beyond the campus boundaries.
Back here on Valpo Sports Central, alongside Eric Mozinski and Mark Westendorp, I am Drew Taylor. Still a lot to get to on today's program. It's already 3:36. Feels like it's just flown by.
It has.
Mark and I are matching today. Mo missed the memo.
No, I didn't. I didn't want to be.
Mo completely missed the memo. Maybe next week
I
we'll
was getting ready for my
we'll
son's
coordinate.
soccer second, so I want to be
You
festive.
did, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
When do you want to do those, by the way?
Hey,
You let me know when you're ready.
I'm always ready. to
You're
talk
always ready?
soccer, Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't want to spring it on you.
You
I'll
sprung
wait.
everything else on me today.
Oh, you mean sending the prep yesterday? Wasn't
was
enough
busy
time?
yesterday.
Oh,
That's
man.
the first time
Rough.
that's ever happened.
Yeah, you have never sent me an email over.
That's because usually I prep this morning.
Usually you just do it in class. To all
Yeah,
these
that's
professors out there that are listening, because I know
that's
they
pretty
are.
accurate. As I mentioned in my tease, we talk a little baseball. So let's open up that discussion. Winners and losers of this offseason. If you have a winner or loser from this offseason, feel free to email us, valposportscentral@gmail.com.
No, tweet us
Again,
is easier.
valposportscentral@gmail.com. You can also tweet us.
That's probably easier because you don't check the emails.
Can we refresh the Twitter handles?
Capital M_Dubs24.
At Eric Mozinski.
And I'm at _Drew Taylor. I thought you were going to
No, I
say
wasn't.
mine, too.
No.
You let me have it.
Yeah.
Impressive.
2 underscores, by the way. One in front and one in the back.
Thanks.
Yeah. You didn't
Appreciate
say
it.
the last one.
Well, I was rushing.
Doesn't even know his own Twitter
He
handle.
doesn't.
The Upton Project in Atlanta. That is my winner.
Love it.
You love it, of course, because you're an Atlanta Braves fan.
Love it.
Will it work? And I'm going to ask you and then get an unbiased opinion from Mo.
Maybe. Not really sure yet.
Too many personalities.
Well, I think they're actually super pumped to play together, and that actually might benefit them both. But what I see in Atlanta's lineup is a lot of power and not a lot of average and speed. So if there's games where the pitchers are on or they have to manufacture runs, it's going to be a little bit harder for this Braves team to do it. but they also have weapons. Anytime they could put up 5 or 6 in an inning. So I mean, I think it's going to rely a lot on the pitching for Atlanta, but hopefully that stays well. We got
Pitching's you've been solid.
yeah, Beachy, as long as he comes back from Tommy John, and he'll come back. Medlin was good last year, so I think the Braves have a good chance of winning their division.
And one of the best back end bullpens in all of baseball, I might add. Eric
Kimbrel.
I mean, Atlanta. I'm not. You know, I'm not good on baseball, but I'll
put it in this way.
No.
You got it?
Let me go.
Okay.
I got this.
Okay. I was gonna give you another question.
No, I got this one. Because I do know a little bit. Not.
If you don't know baseball, I was gonna give you a softball. Huh?
Hey. Okay. No, we're back. What are we talking about? Braves.
Yeah, we're talking about
ATL.
Braves. They're always a team that is always there at the end. They just need one more little like push or something to get them to the next level, and I don't know. Maybe they have it this year. I really can't tell you. I haven't done my research yet.
All right, I'm still gonna ask the question.
Throw me a
Go ahead.
softball. I need one.
The Angels tried something similar in last offseason, which was getting a lot of high-profile players.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we've seen it time and again. The Lakers try to do it in the offseason in basketball.
Turn me back to the AL, please.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
Okay, are we talking? We don't think the Angels worked? I don't think they worked because of one reason, because it was the first year they were dealing with that.
But
They need to get some chemistry.
Baseball is different than basketball because you don't need to read your teammates like you do in
because
basketball.
if you hate the guys, you're not going to play well. Look at the Red Sox the last 2 years.
It's not as crucial as any other sport.
I disagree.
Baseball is
I disagree. You need a clubhouse morale, and if you don't like the other guys in your team, or say the
You
coach,
think your individual performance would suffer then?
yeah.
Maybe, but it's not as much of a factor as
I
basketball,
think
football.
once these guys figure out, and Fat Albert, he moved. Sorry, he moved from the NL to the AL. I mean, that he has to take a little time to get situated with that. You can't blame him for struggling at the beginning of the year.
I suppose.
And they had other guys that were coming good. I think they're a good team. I think they're going to do really well this year.
How about losers of the offseason?
Yankees.
That's what I was going to say. Dang it.
Yankees.
It's always the Yankees.
Always.
Well, they're just losers in
They're
general.
screwed.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this last week
Good
on the
luck with
program,
Kevin
but
Youkilis, by the way.
yeah, they did sign him, didn't they?
Yeah, they can have him.
So they got the Uke dog, but they also won't have
overrated.
A-Rod for a while,
Might help them.
Who's also overrated. Yeah, that's probably going to help him more than hurt him.
Addition by subtraction.
probably.
And they lost. Who'd they lose? What's their closer?
Mariano Rivera. He signed a one-year
No,
deal.
not the other one. Soriano.
Oh, Rafael
He gone.
Soriano.
He gone.
He gone.
He gone. What about our own personal teams? We can quickly touch on it so we don't
I'm gonna give
sound
the Red
like-
Sox 2 years.
Give them a couple of years.
Give them 2 years. They'll be all right. We're not signing anyone high-profile guys. We're signing just average players. We're not above-average players, but not any superstars. We'll be all right for 2 years. Give me 2 years.
Well, it doesn't take an intelligent baseball writer to realize what the Brewers' problem was last year, and that was the bullpen, specifically the back end of the bullpen.
The X-Man?
Yeah, don't even mention it. Doug Melvin did his best to stabilize that bullpen in the offseason, but bullpen pitchers are so
They're nuts.
they're nuts, and they can be on 1 year.
Yeah.
Look at Brad Lidge. I mean, for heaven's sakes, when he's on, he's the best closer in baseball. But when he's off, I mean, his ERA is touching the 6s.
Yikes.
So
You don't
that
want
is just
for you
that is a microcosm
out
of
there.
all relief pitchers. It's very rare to find a Mariano Rivera who is stable for a long, extended period of time. That's just a luxury that
He's on roids.
the Yankees have. I mean, it might be.
He definitely is. You kidding me?
You don't know that.
He's like what? 47?
You don't know that.
Allegedly.
He's not 47.
How old is
You
he?
don't know his birth. His birth certificate's definitely lost.
Regardless, bullpen
I'm
stabilized.
angry now.
Brewers have a good chance at the playoffs. Corey Hart's out for a couple months. We'll see if that affects the team at all.
Ryan
But
Braun, he's rubbing it out for like.
Ryan Braun, it'll be
9
interesting to
games.
see.
He'll
He's
probably
still
be
with some
suspended.
offseason talk and speculation that he's involved with some performance-enhancing drugs. That's
Allegedly.
all I will say on that.
Allegedly.
We'll see how he responds because last year he did
99
respond
game
very
suspension's
well.
a long time.
Eric.
Sorry, you got me jacked up. I'm like angry now about baseball.
Okay. Well, pitchers and catchers report later this month. I'm
Red Sox
so
are
excited. Baseball season is what I live for, and I can't wait for it to get underway. That being said, as I mentioned, we talk about the NCAA tournament format. What is it, 68 teams right now?
68. Yep.
68 teams. More or less, or stay the same?
I don't know. Stay the same. I don't see a problem with it.
But
I don't know.
we talked about the improving mid-major teams, so
Okay, I'll give you.
there are
then
more than
don't-
68 teams that
Yeah.
are easily qualified to maybe play in that type of postseason action.
I mean, it's just unfair because they're mid-major teams. You have to change the whole entire the conferences around if you wanted to do that. I think. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna take at-large bids away from the Big Ten and the ACC, where they're probably Some schools don't deserve it, but if they're the better team, they're going to be a better team than a mid-major.
Okay, follow this comparison with me.
Yeah.
I compare the NCAA tournament to the American economy right now.
Here
The
we
top
go.
ones always get the at-larges. You're going to get your top team from big power.
But
power
most of the
conferences.
time they deserve it. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not complaining about that. But then there's no middle class. The middle class is gone. The Valpos, the good mid-majors are gone because if for some reason they don't win their conference tournament, they're out, but somebody from a lesser conference is
So
in.
you're saying take.
I'm saying it's very top-heavy, and then there's a bunch of teams on the bottom.
agree.
And I think the middle class is washed away in all of this. Good mid-major schools are being left out in the cold.
I do agree that there's some teams, like the play-in teams,
They're
where
a joke.
They're god awful. I don't know why they're playing. Like a Valpo would be a better choice for that, or like a team like a Valpo would be a better choice for that. I agree with you on that.
Here's my proposal to fix that is you get maybe 6 of those very lower conferences, and maybe you have your own little weekend tournament within those 6 conferences from the conference winners, and you know what, maybe the top 2 teams or the winner from those 6 or whatever you want to do make it onto the tournament. But I think you're really squeezing the teams that deserve to get in when you let in teams that clearly are a joke, and we look at our bracket and laugh every year.
I kind of
We do.
yeah.
No,
I mean,
no.
I kind of like the way it is right now.
You do.
I would have liked it to actually stay at 64. I think the 68 because that adds
That's
like
ridiculous.
2 random play-in games of at-larges.
But at least that gets rid of some of the crap.
And it didn't get rid of any crap. It added
It adds more confusion.
4
No, but it
mid-major-
doesn't
or-
guarity one of the worst teams to have an
Why don't you let
to
Mark-
get
why don't
in.
you let Mark
Sorry,
talk?
go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
I don't know. I just like the way it's at because I mean, yeah, Valpo is clearly going to be better than the 16 seed, but
Exactly.
at the same time, we're still only going to be like maybe a 13 seed. So it's not like that big of a discrepancy to me, and I feel like every conference should have a chance to get a team in. They should have a representative because it's money towards them. You should have.
That's fine. Then
That's a
do that.
big
Do
thing.
that.
No,
do
you
a
mentioned
weekend.
Money. That's the biggest thing. That's why these at-large bids are going to the Big Ten, ACC.
What's the difference between a play-in game and the proposal that I suggested, which is you get 6 of these conferences and the winners from them?
No, that'd be great. If they're
That
making
would
more
still get a lot of
NCAA
money.
NCAA wants to do it.
That's
I think
fine.
That's what
But
they're
then
all about,
that gets
money.
rid of the crap before the tournament, and it gets the
It's like a
best
pre-tournament.
64 teams in when it really counts.
Because then you have to do like
You still get money?
You have to like shorten the season, and you have
No,
to factor
not
that in. Yes, you
necessarily.
can. Yeah, how could you do that? It won't be March Madness anymore. You'd have like end of February Madness to March Madness.
You could have for those lower conferences, you could say the regular season winner moves on, and then instead of a conference tournament,
No,
you
it's-
have
no.
you
No,
have a
now you
6
lost me.
conference. No, that's what.
You'd have to shorten the mid-majors season.
No, because you eliminate the conference season from those conferences that would be competing in this pre-playoff.
So you're
to the
saying
NCAA
all these
tournament.
pre-playoff guys should go into one conference, and the top whatever should move on? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm just saying, for example, hypothetically, you have the 6 lowest conferences.
Yeah, I got you.
The regular season winner, because that's the best way to indicate the best team.
Play, like, instead of having I'll put these Horizon League for
Yeah,
example. Instead
fine.
of having a Horizon League tournament, you'd have the top 6
Of the
conference
weakest
tournament.
conferences, then they play a
Okay.
tournament. I think that's televised. That still gets money for your school, and it kind
I
of
can
makes
do
its
that.
own little mid-major
No, 'cause
tournament
we have-
within
okay,
itself.
Then you have a situation where you have 3 teams that are tied in the same conference. They have the same record. How do you do that?
Well, there are obviously tiebreaker scenarios that I don't want to get into. That we'll leave it up to the conferences to decide who ultimately is the winner. But the regular season is thrown to the wayside because there are these conference tournaments. You can have a great regular season, and like Valpo did last year, not play well in one half of a game on your home floor and miss out on the chance to go to the big dance. That to me is unfair because the regular season.
That's why they give you the automatic NIT if you win
Yeah.
the regular season. That's like the consolation prize for not finishing it out and winning
Sure.
on your home court.
Mhm.
And also, the reason I don't like it is because if you did your scenario last year, then Norfolk State doesn't beat Missouri, Lehigh doesn't beat Duke. Those teams just
You know, like
Well,
Brandeis
Lehigh was,
winning.
what,
I like
15?
Brandeis.
they were 15.
They're 15. Okay, so
So
yeah,
it's just like I think it just takes away from
People
the
love
upsets
the
that people are
underdog.
looking for.
you're still gonna have upsets.
But it's not going to be as
They're
big of
like-
an
yeah,
upset.
they're going to be like, okay, they're a good team.
It's like okay, they're still
Yeah.
a good team, so
I would argue that they would elevate the quality of play. I mean, how rare is a 15 beating a 2? That never happens. But now if you have a 15 being a very good mid-major team that maybe missed out on their conference tournament, I think that 15-2 game all of a sudden becomes a lot more interesting.
I don't agree with you.
I don't know.
You don't have to.
I don't like it.
I
I
think
don't
you're
like
dumb.
it.
You don't have to, but like I said, it's like the American economy. A lot of people at the top, a lot of people at the bottom.
That's what the people want to see, though. The people want to see the big teams play, and the people want to see the.
I
big
wanna
team
see Valpo
lose.
play.
No, that you're biased.
Oh, and there's a new
Goodbye.
stat that ESPN made that's actually kind of helping mid majors out a little bit. The basketball power index. I don't know. Look it up. It's a little bit better than RPI.
Okay.
I think RPI Valpo is like low 80s right now, something like that. I think we're a mid 60, upper 60 in the BPI.
Yeah.
It takes into account a bunch of different other things. So I think if they
Yeah.
start taking that, it'll help out mid majors a little bit more.
It's Valpo Sports Central here on the Source 95. We have to take one more break, but on the other side, sort of a fun segment. We got 7 good soccer seconds from Eric Mozinski. We'll also go over some mock headlines from Aaron Taylor. He'll throw in some Grammy references. What happened over the weekend? Oscars, Grammys? What was
Grammys,
it?
dude.
Grammys. He's got some Grammy mock
you remember
headlines.
that.
I'm not in touch with pop culture.
We should be.
Maybe I should be. It's
Dr.
3:49
Cox,
here
Netflix.
on the Source 95. You're listening to Valpo Sports Central.
Hi everybody, I'm Dick Vitale of ESPN, and I'm on VUTV. It's awesome, baby, with a capital A.
The Valparaiso University Meteorology Program gives you the scientific knowledge of a big university while keeping the small college atmosphere. At Valpo, you have the opportunity to take meteorology courses every semester throughout your college experience. Our approachable faculty are among the best in their field, and the small student-to-professor ratio promotes individualized learning and a family environment. Valparaiso's extracurriculars encourage specialization in all aspects of weather, including research, operational, aviation, and broadcasting. Students receive hands-on experience forecasting, launching weather balloons, using our on-campus dual polarization Doppler radar, and even chasing storms. Our alumni serve in all areas of meteorology, from researchers at universities to forecasters at the National Weather Service to Good Morning America. Valpo Meteorology, your forecast calls for success.
Final segment, Valpo Sports Central. Still a lot to get to on the program with you till 4 p.m. this afternoon right here on the Source 95. Alongside Mark and Eric, I am Drew Taylor. Now, before we sign off for the day, we still have some mock headlines, some 7 good soccer seconds.
Yeah.
You ready?
No. Yeah.
We'll let Mo warm up.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you're watching on VUTV, you can see him actually get ready for this
Did you
segment.
like
You
that?
ready?
That was for the viewers out there. Shout out. Yeah, I'm ready.
Your 7 good seconds starts now.
Ronaldo makes his homecoming to Old Trafford, scores, United 1, Real Madrid 1.
4 seconds. It was a long 4.
It was 4.
Who's 4?
It was 4.
It's like when
It's
you
a roll over 3, in case you didn't know. So that's 8 seconds next week, Drew.
It's like when you compete with your brother on who can go down in the water the longest.
Yeah, you
it's a
always
long
cheat.
4 seconds.
Yeah.
He counts very slowly.
And then
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
counts fast. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I give you 4. I'll call
You
one.
like that, though?
So I
Going
loved
back
it.
to Old Trafford?
Loved it. So you
I don't
have
know what that means.
no, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to you. Three
Nice. I don't
three
listen to
extra
you.
seconds.
Yeah, roll over.
Would you like to use them next week, or are you gonna play it by ear? You could have 8 seconds.
I
Next.
don't know. That's the only game going. There's one game going on today. Not
Okay.
that hard to figure out.
So we'll play it by ear next week. Eric has the option of going with 8 seconds or going with his
I'm
usual
just gonna wait. I'm
5
gonna
or
get
less.
20 seconds at the end of the year. That's my goal.
Well, last week you said you'd have like 5 minutes, which is
Well,
completely
I'm gonna-
impossible.
I'm gonna be a realist now and say 20 seconds. That's doable.
You want to sum up what you actually said in those 5 seconds? Because I had zero
okay,
idea
Cristiano,
what you said.
Cristiano Ronaldo, in case you guys didn't know, used to play for Manchester United, was traded a couple
my.
years ago to Real Madrid. Shock transfer because Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo was the team. Makes his first game back to Old Trafford since he's been traded. It was big, like big build up, huge game. Didn't know if he was gonna play. He said, "I'm gonna play." Scored a goal back at Old Trafford, which is huge. Puts the tie, gives Real Madrid the away goal in the Champions League. So huge implications, huge game.
Very good. We won't count those toward your 5 seconds.
That's
Otherwise,
fine.
you'd be out for the year.
Yeah, you'd be done.
You'd be
fine.
done.
You'd be done.
That's probably the biggest game of the
Let's move on to some mock headlines sent to you by Aaron Taylor. These are headlines that reflect the Grammys and the struggling Lakers. So first off, somebody that I used to know, Lakers. What?
Gautier.
You get that?
Lakers, Gautier.
Somebody that I
no
used to know,
chance
the
with
song.
the Steve.
Ah, very good, very good. LL Cruel play. Lakers clearly past their prime. Very nice,
That was
very
good.
nice.
I like that one.
Lakers to contact fund for lessons on how to make it rain in the Staples Center.
Oh.
Very nice. Justin Timberlaker's Kobe tells Dwight to. I was gonna do an impression, but Cry Me a River.
Do the impression. Let's hear it.
No, I wasn't gonna do it.
Okay, good.
Justin
That'd be
Timberlake's
embarrassing
famous song "Cry Me a River." Last one.
Yeah.
Mumford and Sons got the award, but Dwight Howard deserves to get Bum of the Year. Bum of the Year?
I don't know.
I
know where
don't know if
he's
he's bum
going.
of the year. I don't know.
Sometimes let's face it, he's a little smarter than I am. So some of these things,
Your brother's a lot smarter than you are.
he's a lot smarter than
I
I
don't
am.
even know him, but I think he's a lot smarter.
Plus, you got to know about the Grammys a little bit. I don't think you know anything about the Grammys.
You know what? I should have done some research on these.
Yeah, probably should have.
What?
You gave us a day prep too. Well, maybe next time too.
Yeah. So those mock headlines brought to you by Aaron Taylor. Thank you as always. We appreciate it. What to watch for this weekend, gentlemen, before we have to sign off?
Clearly the Valpo Detroit game, Saturday at 5.
On ESPN 2 if you, for some unforgiving reason, cannot make it.
And honestly, I was looking at all the college basketball games from Saturday. I really didn't see one that had any more implications than this game because, I mean, unless you think Purdue's going to go into Indiana and knock off the number 1 team in the nation,
Right.
but that's probably not going to happen.
No.
Maybe Baylor Kansas State will be a fun one that I would like to watch because that whole Big 12 is jumbled up a lot, and Baylor's a team that has talent. Kansas State has talent. It'd be a fun game to watch. So those are 2 games: Baylor, Kansas State, and then obviously Detroit coming in here to Valpo.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate that the Valpo Detroit game. For
It's a
all
big
you
one.
listeners out there, you should probably go to the game.
Yeah.
Anything non-sports related?
Yeah, the old five-side chili cook-off is on Saturday before the Detroit game. If you guys want
2
to
to
come
4.
down. The proceeds go to a Delta member who
Triple
is
triangle.
battling leukemia, and so any donation is good. You can get some chili, good time. You can come and then we go right to the Valpo game. So
That's it.
you'll see the 3 amigos there.
What time is that, Eric?
That's at 2:00 at the old
It's
801 Down Street.
$3 for
$3
student.
yeah. Bring your ID. $3 for a student. $5 for a non-student. If you bring 4 friends, I think. No, what is it? 4 friends. $10 for 4 friends.
Sure.
Sure.
Or you can just
I'll cut
make
a
some,
deal.
make some
Make some
chili.
chill,
Make
you
some
know?
chili. You get
Dude,
5 people in free if
exactly.
you make chili. Make
$1
chili.
Target gift card if you want to come down. If you win.
To reiterate, 801 Mound Street, 2 p.m. before the Detroit game. Come eat some chili. It's for a good cause.
Drew's not cooking. Don't
If
worry.
you want, bring some chili, as Mo mentioned. That's also a good
Some
way to
chill.
get in the door.
Spicier the better.
And
Yeah, I mean,
we'll have a competition. Are we the official taste testers?
I don't know. I think we
Hey.
wanted to do alumni.
I think we're
vote.
roughly-
I think we're
No,
just
we
going to
got-
take over.
We got Electoral College and popular vote.
We need like the celebrity people to take the.
I'm gonna eat all the chili. I'll tell
No,
you. if it's
yeah,
good or
exactly.
not.
I'm going to try it all.
I'll
My
be your-
opinion
I'll
may
be
not
your
matter.
Judge. I'll say yes or no.
So we have that definitely to look forward to. A fun weekend ahead. Again, if you want to follow the Valpo game, if you can't make it, it's on ESPN2. Detroit game versus Valpo, 5 p.m. in what seemingly is the biggest game of the year at the Arc. It used to be the Butler game. But again, Detroit coming to town, biggest game of the year, especially with the sour note. Or the
Turf war.
Yeah, exactly.
Turned into a turf war.
It's personal.
It really did. They vandalized after the win, so now it's become
Oh.
2-1-9.
I'm just gonna keep that quiet. Never mind.
We got time.
No, I'm good. I don't want to get in trouble.
I don't like that. I don't,
FCC.
FCC's out there listening. I'm good.
Fair enough. It's 3:58 here on the Source 95. We're going to have to sign off there. Thank you to Mark Westendorp and Eric Mozinski. We will be on VUTV Channel 82 either tonight or tomorrow, and probably
Faces for radio.
it's probably going to be
Voice for print.
rebroadcast throughout the week. So you have that to look forward to again. Channel 82 VUTV. We'll be back next Wednesday from 3 to 4. Thank you for listening as always, smile Valpo. The world will smile back.